20 people to be questioned in its investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. At the panel's update briefing on Wednesday, Chairman Richard Burr, a North Carolina Republican, and Democratic Committee Vice Chairman Mark Warner presented a united front.
We will always say to you this investigation scope will go wherever the intelligence leads it. So it is absolutely crucial that every day we spend trying to separate fact from fiction and to find some intelligence thread that sends us to the factual side of all the names and all the places that you in this room have written about.
We need to get this right. And sometimes that means, especially for somebody like me, who wants things done yesterday, that it's not going to happen as quickly as I would like or many members of our committee would like. But getting it right is more important than to get it done quickly.
Aaron Blake is a political reporter for The Washington Post. So, Aaron, at Wednesday's update briefing, Republican Chairman Burr and Ranking Democrat Warner highlighted bipartisan cooperation in contrast with the turmoil going on the House side. Do you anticipate the Senate investigation playing a more central role going forward?
I really do. I think it's maybe the one investigation right now that is going on in Congress, because the House investigation is, for all intents and purposes, kind of ground to a halt over concerns about the chairman, Devin Nunes. So while that investigation had been getting all the headlines and had been making news, the Senate investigation's been very quiet. They've been keeping their cards close to their vest. They haven't been providing these regular updates. And so it's kind of floated beneath the radar. But now I think, now that they're actually interviewing people, now that the House side is not really moving forward, I think you're going to see a lot of focus on this investigation, and we'll see how well they can keep this going and keep that bipartisan spirit intact.
Well, also on Wednesday, the ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff, was urging Chairman Nunes to reschedule Sally Yates' hearing. What are the odds, you think, Aaron, that we see that happen, and how does that committee proceed with such a significant divide between its own members?
Well, it's really difficult. The Intelligence Committee is always a little bit different than other committees in Congress, where you may have a Republican chairman or the majority party chairman who exercises complete control over those committees. Intelligence Committee is supposed to be a very bipartisan thing. The two leaders of the two parties are supposed to work together. And now that that confidence, that kind of bipartisan spirit is gone, it's very difficult to move forward and have a credible investigation. On the other hand, we've seen the White House does want Sally Yates, or they say they want Sally Yates to testify, that they look forward to it. There would seem to be no reason why she can't come forward and testify right now. So we'll see if they actually schedule her. But she also, by the way, is thought to be one of the people who's talking to Senate investigators privately. We'll see if she's part of a public Senate Intelligence Committee hearing.
Something we'll be watching for closely. Meantime, the White House is standing by Chairman Nunes at this point. From a political standpoint, I wonder what you make of that strategy.
Well, they know that the alternative is that there's another person installed in that position. Chairman Nunes has been criticized for being too close to the Trump administration. He was a member of their transition team after the election, and they don't know if they would get anybody as friendly, just on a base level, regardless of how the investigation is conducted, if he's replaced. And so I think they're going to fight very hard to see that this continues on. I think that they have a great interest in making sure that he's the guy overseeing this. And from there, it's just a matter of whether the public pressure wins the day or not.
Well, let's turn to the Trump administration's legislative agenda. The president again suggested Tuesday night that he'd be willing to work with Democrats. Realistically, do you see that happening on health care or other upcoming issues like tax reform?
I really don't at this point. I think, for one, we have a Democratic Party base that is thirsty for their party to oppose Trump at all turns. They don't want them voting for his cabinet nominees or his Supreme Court nominee. They didn't want them voting for the health care bill. I think in order for Trump to get that support, he would really have to move to the middle politically on issues like health care, on tax reform. It's plausible, but I think at this point, they see a president who's kind of, crumbling under his own weight, isn't able to get legislation passed. just through Republicans. His approval rating is dropping. I don't think they're going to step in and rescue this president by giving him some bipartisan credentials unless he really comes to the table with something that surprises them and that gives them the ability to claim a win and a major concession from a Republican president.
Well, Steve Bannon is now reportedly involved in talks to resuscitate the failed health care bill, but the fundamentals really haven't changed. The Freedom Caucus has not backed off of its demands. So how seriously should we take House Republicans' talk that they're not giving up on Obamacare repeal?
Well, I think it's rhetoric right now. I don't know how they're going to get this done. I think if they leave Obamacare more intact, they're going to completely inflame a Republican Party base, which is already concerned about the fact that they're not actually repealing this law. And if they don't go that far, if they don't leave Obamacare intact and really work with Democrats, they're just not going to have the votes. They're losing votes both on the right and the left side of the Republican Party right now. And so any direction they move this package in is going to lose support on the other side. So the calculus was really tough. It remains very tough. And I'm not sure what they have in store here that's going to change the fundamental difficulty that exists.
All right, Aaron Blake in Washington. Aaron, thanks so much.
Thank you.